So here we are in my lessons.
We'll just stop you there. Yeah. So I just, it's interesting to note, some people may not realize it, that you can see that there's 14 new words in Histoire numéro 9, or 17%. 17% is a sweet spot. It's a moderately difficult number. You know, it's not really easy. It's 17%. So you have 17% new words in there. That you haven't opened this before, right? Number 9? Or have you?
Yeah, I think I just started it and then
just started. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Do you want to do this one?
We can do that, or you can do number 10. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever
okay,
you want
cool.
to do.
Let's do this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember what's in here. Is this the beginning? No, this is not the first page. Well, you know what that says. All right. Time for me to pronounce?
Yeah, now, you know what? Just for fun, click on the audio symbol there.
Okay, but I've got the
oh, you won't hear
my
it.
earbuds
Okay.
in.
No, okay,
Yeah.
then don't do it. But I was just going to say that, again, that because the mini stories are time-stamped, therefore, when you're in sentence mode, of course, you can hear the natural voice for that sentence. And in terms of getting the rhythm of the language, I mean, I'm doing this now for, Persian and Arabic. It just can help you because you kind of hear it and then you try to, imitate it, imitate it. So not that that's difficult.
I could disconnect this so people could hear it.
Sure.
Okay, it's just gonna. All right. So this should work now. Here?
Yep.
Okay.
André a une nouvelle petite amie.
So if you were to say that 5-10 times, first of all, the oo and the u is always an issue. So here it's oo, right? Petit ami, petit ami, petit ami. I mean, it's just to try and get the sort of intonation. So I just something that I recommend to people, that because we do have not only the translation for the individual sentences, but we also have the natural audio time-stamped. So it's a good place to work on your pronunciation, your intonation, and also your reading speed. Because after you hear it once, try and read it at the same speed as the narrator. Because it might sound fast to you because you're in an early stage in the language, but eventually that's going to be normal speed for you.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's why some of the past exercises that we've done, I hadn't actually heard it pronounced. So it makes it really challenging to try to just come out with that yourself without listening to it. And that's also why listening back on mini stories 1 through 8 multiple times has, I think, really helped start to internalize those pronunciations.
Okay. Now, if you go on to the next page, Andre should disappear. In other words, you don't have to.
I do have my link reader settings set to not.
Oh, to not. Okay, then you might want to remove Andre because unless you want that. I mean, that's the French version for Andrew.
I just haven't gone through this one, so.
Okay.
I actually.
No, but there is a choice there. I never know quite what to do. But if you have a name, but it is the French version of Andrew. So should you save that as a word or not? Is that a word known, a word learned or not? It's subjective.
I hit the X to ignore.
Okay.
I'm following here. It makes sense to me to not, unless it's like a for example, like a proper noun that is a famous place.
Right.
That might be something that I would say, but names I haven't been.
So I think the important thing is that the statistics are for us as learners. We can do with them what we want. It's not for showing off to other people. Right. If you want to have these French forms of English names as known words, you do so. If you want to ignore them as proper names, you can do so. It doesn't matter.
No rules.
No rules.
You choose your links and your known and learned words the way that works best for you.
Exactly.
Great.
So maybe pronounce that sentence.
All right. André a une nouvelle petite amie.
Okay. So right away, the reason why it's good to listen to that is you have the U and the OO une nouvelle petite amie. So say une nouvelle petite amie.
Une nouvelle petite amie.
Okay. You notice the difficulty there is once you've hit the U, then the next U, there's a lingering U effect. So it actually, over time, you get better and better. It's the same with the nasal sounds. It's like they all come together, you can get them confused. So it's just a matter of training the brain. And the more you hear it, the more you pronounce it, the better the brain gets at doing it. Otherwise, then you can trip over your tongue as you're doing it until you get develop those habits. So,
in my experience, it's also training the tongue too. You know, it has to get comfortable.
Yeah, the tongue. But since you have, unless you're smarter than I am, you cannot really control what your tongue does. In other words, it's just that the brain eventually starts sending the right signals.
Okay.
To your tongue. Did I ever tell you the story that when I was young, my father could wiggle his ears and I couldn't?
No.
I wanted to learn to wiggle my ears. Now, if you can't wiggle your ears, it's very hard to send a message to your ears to move. But I used to sit there watching TV at the age of 8 and I'd go, I want my ears to move. And now I can wiggle my ears. Can you see that? Yeah, I can wiggle my ears. Can you see them wiggling?
You're tiny on the screen right
now. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, the point is, it is extraordinary what with will we can make our brain do. So if you develop this habit of hearing and hearing and hearing and saying it gradually, the tongue is going to start doing what it's supposed to do. Anyway,
maybe I can train myself to wiggle my ears too.
There you go. That's very useful thing to do.
All right.
Okay.
Do this one again or next page?
Next page.
Okay. Sa petite amie s'appelle Sarah.
Perfect. Okay, we'll go on.
We went to the Spanish pronunciation on Sarah.
No, well, okay, but that's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't get too hung up about the guttural R. It'll gradually get better. I find that the intonation is more important. And of course, a couple of things there that for people who are watching, of course, we have un ami is a friend without an E, and une amie with an E at the end is a female. So sa petite amie, petite amie often is used for girlfriend. So wherever we say girlfriend in English, in French they say petite amie. So if a guy has a girlfriend, he says ma petite amie. Because otherwise you have to go mon ami, right? Because in French, there's another thing, you can't have ma followed by an A. You wouldn't have mamie. So even if it's ami with an O at the end, like a female friend, if it's my friend, mon ami, you can't tell if it's a male or a female, if it's just spoken. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So, really? So then so you don't say mami?
No. Mami means mommy, mom.
I wouldn't have known that because I would have guessed that because ma, like my feminine,
right?
And then like following the other rule with the liaison, like you can't have the A, one word ending with an A and then the next word starting with the A. I would assume that you would do the M apostrophe for.
I'm trying to remember because I don't know my French rules. I just know what I'm used to. And I'm trying to think of another example.
So there's mes amis, but you would never.
Mes amis is not a problem. Mes amis, you don't know if it's masculine or feminine or mixed,
right?
But unless you read it. But I'm thinking I can't immediately think of a feminine word that begins with A. What's a feminine word that begins? Yeah. So mon aventure. Okay, aventure is feminine. You don't say ma aventure, you say mon aventure. If you have me before a,
it's always
it's mon.
Oh, I guess I should stay away from always and never statements when it comes to language learning.
Right, because they don't want to have the ma mi. They can't have two A's together.
And I was just having this conversation about why they do that in Spanish, and I think it's similar because it's the way it sounds. And like you'll take a word like agua or alma, which end with A, so you'd think it would be feminine, but they're masculine,
Mm-hmm.
It's el agua and el alma, and I think it's
Right.
that el to the a
Mm-hmm.
way
Mm-hmm.
smoother on the ear in these Romance languages than la.
Right.
Like that's really awkward.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same in French then.
Except in the case of L, they use the apostrophe. L'aventure.
So,
But
yeah.
l'ami, you wouldn't be able to tell. L'ami. But with the my, it's mon ami, or my girlfriend is ma petite amie.
Ma petite amie. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So here we have this guy who's going to cook food for his new girlfriend, and his girlfriend is his petite amie.
And her name is Sarah.
Right. Okay.
You're you know the story by heart. You're looking.
I know. I've heard this story 30 times in 5 languages. Okay.
Great. Andrez-vous cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah?
Okay. Now listen to it and say it again.
André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
Whoa.
Exactly. Now you try and go at that speed with
André
that
veut cuisiner un
intonation.
dîner pour Sarah.
Is that the natural or is that the?
Oh, that's the text to speech.
That's the text to speech. Can you get the? Why is that now?
Histoire numéro 9. Partie A.
Oh, you know.
André a une nouvelle.
Just this morning in a call, one of our developers were saying, I think like the timestamps for the sentence mode needed a little tweak. So that.
Okay, but let's listen to it again. Let's listen to this again.
This way?
No. From André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
It's hard to tell. Boy, she speaks like a machine. At any rate, I recommend that you do some working on these where you listen to the sentence and try and nail, first of all, the intonation and the speed. And don't worry about what you mangle. Just try to imitate the intonation. And when you get the intonation, you'll find that a lot of other stuff falls into place.
Okay.
But you can read it slowly now. Read it slowly one more time.
André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
Okay. The R at the end is always A, not pronounced. So André veut cuisiner.
Cuisiner.
And it doesn't drag on. R is not one of those liaisons. There's an exception to everything. Cuisiner. André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
Un dîner pour Sarah. How
right.
is that? Sarah?
Sarah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, you got to be careful. In English, we have a tendency to put the stress on the first syllable, whereas in French, it's more even. Sarah. André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah. Remember that French is more monotonous.
André veut cuisiner un dîner pour Sarah.
Voilà. Okay.
I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
Supermarket. Okay.
Now, what I would.
Yep. Supermarché.
Sorry.
Say it again. Let's hear it again.
Il va faire les courses au supermarché.
Yeah, that's the natural voice.
Yeah, that sounds.
Okay, now, you see it says faire les courses.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that means?
Like, make his way.
Okay, highlight that phrase.
Oh, go shopping.
Right.
Il va faire le quoi? À supermarché.
Oh, supermarché.
To go shopping. Oh, supermarché.
Right. Faire les courses is rather. Now, bear in mind that the translation may not totally, like the person who created the French version decided not to say he goes to the grocery store, decided to say he goes shopping at the grocery store. So the translations are not going to be word for word 100%.
So is faire les courses, is that an expression to mean to go shopping always?
Yeah, faire les courses.
Faire les courses.
Faire les courses.
Faire les courses.
Now, it's funny, in Quebec, they say magasiner sometimes. In France, they sometimes say faire le shopping.
Okay.
But faire les courses is your regular shopping. It's not magasiner might be, or faire le shopping might be to go buy a new, blouse or shoes or something.
Okay.
But faire les courses is your regular shopping. You got to go to the supermarket. That's where you go for faire les courses.
So, question then:
Yeah.
Is it redundant to say faire les courses and to say au supermarché?
No, you might go to the grocery store. The supermarché is in fact not the grocery store. Again, I apologize for the translation. It's the supermarket.
Right, but
So you have l'épicier is the grocery store.
L'épicier?
L'épicier.
L'épicier.
L'épicier, the spice. Imagine it was the spice store. L'épicier.
Okay, I have not.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not redundant, no. And supermarché is. That didn't exist when I lived in France in the 60s. So
Okay.
and say supermarché.
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 Right. So it's good to practice these, especially to get the U sound, not to make it on its own, but to make it in the middle of a sentence. It's going to take, but a month from now, you'll do it with no difficulty. So you just got to keep working at it. And the other thing that's maybe not, as in many languages, il va, he goes, il va faire les courses. In a way, it doesn't mean he goes to the grocery store. It means he is going to go shopping at the grocery store. To me, il va is like the future tense.
Yeah.
Il va faire. But it also means he goes, il va faire les courses. It has that sense of he's about to go to the supermarket. To me, it does anyway. Anyway, maybe not. Who knows? Everything is not necessarily 100%. Okay, so give me the whole sentence here.
Okay. Il va faire les courses au supermarché.
Perfect. Yeah. No, actually, it is. He goes shopping at the supermarket, but it could also mean il va faire les courses demain. He's going to go shopping tomorrow, but that's not what it says.
And so it's not required to specify where he's going shopping. But
no, I'm going shopping. But les courses to me, and we'll have some French speakers who might correct me, but to me, faire les courses suggests, your regular food shopping, your regular shopping of some kind. So we don't regularly go shopping for clothing, but we regularly go shopping for food.
Yeah.
So il va faire les courses. Okay. Au supermarché. By the way, a good strategy when speaking, which you did, it's a bit of a mouthful to say the whole sentence. So you went, il va faire les courses au supermarché. And I think that's a very good strategy to get the pronunciation. So it doesn't matter that you take a breather. Il va faire les courses au supermarché. And then really focus on the pronunciation within each of those phrases. That's good strategy.
It's the same learning strategy I apply to pretty much everything, which is like something is you got a big task and it's really overwhelming. You just got to break it down into smaller parts.
Absolutely. One slice at a time. The salami approach. Okay.
All right. So I have not come across these words before. Basket. Panier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would not recognize that. And a cart. So, cart. Chariot. Listen to this.
André prend un panier et un chariot.
Et un chariot.
Right.
Chariot. Okay, so it sounds like, is this word used in multiple different contexts?
Well, I to be perfectly honest, it's not a word that I use, but the word chariot is used for cart in different scenarios. So I'm sure this person knows that the shopping cart is known as a chariot. It's not an important word to know unless you're going shopping and you need someone to, find you a shopping cart. But that's. I mean, we identify the car. That's obviously a related word, cart.
Yeah, but very different.
So if you never remember that word, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
So let's hear the whole. Yeah.
And in English, of course, it's like, there's that saying, your chariot awaits you. So that's why I'm thinking, like, does this mean something else?
Your chariot, what? What was that?
Chariot awaits you.
Oh, like, yeah.
Like you're almost like your chauffeur is here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the chariot, like the Roman chariot, if that's also how they say that in French. Those are just not words that I've used.
I'll have to.
But if you see the chariot, you should be able to figure out what it means.
Sure. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
textual.
Okay, let's hear the sentence.
André prend un panier et un chariot.
All right. André prend un panier et un chariot.
Voilà. Okay, very good.
Ouais. Oh, he misses the vegetable section. Il passe à côté. Passe à côté. Is this a common phrase here?
Passe à côté, yes, passes by.
Okay, so
Or walks by.
side. Would you say that's a good translation to save?
Well, he misses the vegetable section. I don't know why the original English was written that way, but passe à côté is he walks by. He walks by. He passes by.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, côté just means side. That's what it means.
Okay, so I can save it like this.
Yeah, but à côté is also good. I would say à côté.
All right. Next to, nearby.
Well, it can be, but it also means beside.
Okay, next
Or
to.
next to. Yeah, passes next to, you know. That's good. Next to, nearby. Yeah.
Beside, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Great. À côté.
Now, if you take the phrase il passe à côté,
Oops. He
walks past, yeah.
It's good.
Okay. So, and that passes, I mean, it's almost like the English.
Yeah.
Now,
Passes, yeah.
Now, du rayon, like rayon, if you click on rayon,
Rayon.
it's there you got to be a little imaginative, but it's the shelf. Or
Is
the
it all
section.
of these other things too?
It can be a ray, beam, and stuff like that, but I always like to choose the one that's relevant to whatever I'm studying. And here it's the shelf or the section.
Absolutely. That's an interesting one. Because that could create, I mean, it makes sense, right? Array, something.
Yeah.
Like
it's a section.
Create those visuals in my mind for how that
right.
can mean multiple things. Because in this state, for me, it seems like a false cognate if it just means shelf, right? But if I can think of like array or
right, it's array is a way to think of it.
Yeah. Des légumes, légumes.
Légumes. Légumes. Okay. So I would take. Sorry, go back to the dictionaries again.
Oops.
Well, no. Okay. Well, we missed it. Check, manage, popular. Go to popular translations. So this is the different translations that people have chosen. I would have taken vegetables, masculine, plural, because that gives me more information.
I see. Yeah. Sometimes those hints, like I can see how they're really helpful. And sometimes I think it's just that they.
Yeah, you can keep them both.
Keep them both. They add a little bit of extra something in there. And
you can keep them both. Don't remove that one. They're both good. It doesn't matter.
I can save them both. Okay. Great.
Now, you see where it says du rayon, il passe à côté du, of the, right?
Yeah.
What does du rayon tell you about the word rayon?
That it is masculine.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the thing about all these is that the mini stories are a place for training. And so listening repetitively is good training, reading it is good training, but also going through it sentence by sentence and trying to get as close as possible to the intonation of the natural voice is very good training. Not just for the sort of substance of this story, but to get your brain, your tongue, and everything working to get closer to French intonation. And one other thing, if you click on, il passe, he passes, right? So click on that. And then go to search reversal verb conjugation, one of the dictionaries there, down below.
One, yeah.
So one thing I like to do from time to time is look up the conjugation of the verbs. Mm-hmm. Because and you have to do it over and over and over again, because so you notice that je and il, elle are the same, right? Okay. And yeah.
That's always how it is.
Not always.
Unless it's
like,
a regular.
but it is in this case.
Uh-huh.
And I always take this as an opportunity to review the imperfect, the future. I just look at them, whether I'm in Arabic or whatever. And slowly, all these different tenses, they start to kind of penetrate, right? So
Yeah.
we see that in the imperfect, the je and tu are the same, but il and elle is different again.
Right.
And I look at it, and it makes a bit of an impression. Let's get out of that, and let's go to the previous sentence. Go back one. Okay, click on prend.
Same thing. You want to do the same thing with that?
Yeah, go to the context reversal. Check manage that context reversal conjugation.
Yeah, this is
no, you didn't go to the conjugation one. You went to the other context reversal. You got to be a little careful. There's context reversal dictionary, which is also very good,
yes.
But then there's the conjugation one.
Yeah, this is like a really common word in French.
Yeah.
It's
so you'll here you see that je and tu have the same endings, s, but il and elle have no s.
Got me there.
Okay. So I just recommend, and you can scroll down the conjugations, you'll see that the full conjugation of the word prend is there. So it's too much information for you to absorb. It's just good to know that it's there, and that at any time you can go in and check the conjugation.
Yeah, and I do think I need to get into this more at the stage that I'm at now, because like I'm getting familiar. You know, I can easily recognize like that's a future, or that's a present tense or a future tense,
right,
or a past tense verb. But then how do I produce that is a little bit more challenging, and then especially these other tenses, right? The imperfect, subjunctive, all
right.
of that.
I must say that I wouldn't worry about producing it now.
Sure.
I just think that if you regularly review, you look at the conjugation table, you get back into the text, you're doing a lot of listening, and at some point you'll start producing it, and you'll be surprised how much your brain has picked up.
Exactly. And I wanted to share with everyone, everyone uses LingQ differently, and I encourage everyone to find what works best for them. I was chatting with a friend who's been on LingQ for 4 years, and he's got over like 50,000 words in Russian. And he was saying that in the beginning, when he is first saving meanings for words, he will, and like this is a great example, he will actually, since this is a present tense verb in this context that we're looking at, entreprendre, he's actually going to take the time to save the entire present tense conjugations. And he has them all in his right here, like, and he's actually time to
but he would put them you know what, I would recommend people not do that, because this is supposed to be the hint. I would put it in the notes area.
Oh, and perhaps, I'm sorry, I think that is what he did.
I think so, because whatever you do to the dictionary, other people are going to see. So the notes is for you there. That makes more sense.
Yeah, so he will like take this extra time, and he said, it's definitely an extra time commitment in the beginning, and of course, as time goes on, you don't have to do
that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea.
Yeah.